Okay, first graders, so today we're going to be going over our letters, our letter sounds, and our sight words. We're going to be using a couple different apps on our iPads. One is the Little Writer app, and the other is our sight words app that we've been using. So we're going to go over some things as a class first, and then after that, you're going to open your Little Writer app and get started with your letter recognition and sounds. Then we'll come back together for a little bit, and then we will go into our sight words app and you will practice your sight words there. And yeah, so first we're going to go over our letters and letter sounds using our chart. So we're going to do the letter, the sound it makes, and then the picture below it as an example of a word that starts with that letter. So starting here, going across, and then coming back down this way until the last row. A, apple. B, bee. C, cat. D, dog. E, elephant. F, frog. G, girl. H, horse. I, igloo. J, juice. K, kangaroo. L, lion. M, monkey. N, nest. O, octopus. P, pig. Q, queen. R, rabbit. S, sun. T, turtle. U, umbrella. V, volcano. W, whale. X, x-ray. Y, yarn. Z, zebra. So now that we've reviewed our uppercase and lowercase letters and sounds in our chart, we're going to open our Little Writer apps, and you're going to start by tracing all your uppercase letters, and then once you've done all 25, you're going to go and do all your lowercase letters. And once you've done all 25 of those, if you still have time before the rest of the class is done, you can go and start doing your sight words and reviewing and tracing those and listening to the sounds they make. So next you're going to go into your Little Writer app like we talked about, and you're going to start with your capital letters. So the first section on top you can click. And since we've been doing this throughout the year, you're familiar with how you do it, but you just start at the top and follow the trail around until you get back to where you started.
X.
And then make sure you have your sound on so you can hear the letter that you wrote after you write it. Next we have X.
You wrote the letter.
You did it. You wrote the letter X. H.
Next we have a capital H.
Super. You wrote the letter.
Super.
H.
You wrote the letter H. G.
Awesome. You wrote the letter.
Awesome. You wrote the letter G.
So we just did a few together. You can finish the rest of the letters by yourself, and then after that move on to your After you finish your uppercase and lowercase alphabets, you, if you still have time, can go into the bottom category on the Little Writer app where it says words, and you can click on that,
Pear.
and it will give you a picture of an object. Our first one we're doing is a pear, so we're going to write the letter P.
E.
E.
A.
A.
Oh,
R.
A.
R.
Super.
and R.
You wrote
You
the
wrote
word.
the word
Pear.
pear.
Ring.
Ring.
And we're going to stop there. We're just going to do one example. But once you have done a few of those, we're going to come back together as a class, and then we will move on to our sight words app with the words that you have specifically been working on. yourself. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is open our Sightwords app. Once you open it, you're going to go to the one that says sticky words, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today for the majority of the time. So you're going to open that, and then you're going to come to this screen with a bunch of different sticky notes with words on them in all different colors. So what you do is the little guy on the side of your screen is going to say a word, and then you're going to click every word you see that matches the word that he says. So for example, if he says but, you're going to click every word that says but. So I see 1, 2, 3. And I got all of them. So next we have to find the word brown. And again, if you don't know the word, look for the letter sounds. Did. Came. Came. And black. And then once you finish that, your screen will look like this. And you may click the bottom right corner, the arrow. And click the arrow again. And move on to the next set of sight words. So now that we've had practice writing and spelling and sounding out our sight words, we are going to do a read aloud. It's a book we all know. It's Pete the Cat, I Love My White Shoes. And while we're reading it, I want you to pay attention to the words in the book so you can find sight words that you know while we're reading. So we're going to try and identify these words now in a book that we're familiar with. And while we're reading, and you're paying attention to the words and finding your sight words, I want you to have your Poplet app open, and we're going to make a web of all the sight words that you know while we're reading and the ones that you notice. So it's gonna look like this. You're going to create a web, my sight words, and then list all the sight words you notice or that you know while we're reading Pete the Cat. So we will start the book then.
Pete the Cat was walking down the street in his brand new white shoes. Pete loved his white shoes so much, he sang this song. I love my white shoes. 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 Oh, no. Pete stepped in a large pile of strawberries. What color did it turn his shoes?
Red!
Did Pete cry?
Goodness, no!
He kept walking along and singing his song. I love my red shoes. 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 I love my red. Oh no! Pete stepped in a large pile of blueberries. What color did it turn his shoes?
Blue!
Did Pete cry?
Goodness, no!
He kept walking along and singing his song. love my blue shoes. I 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 love. Oh no! Pete stepped in a large puddle of mud. What color did it turn his shoes?
Brown.
Did Pete cry?
Goodness, no.
He kept walking along and singing his song. I love my brown shoes. 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 I love my brown. Oh no! Pete stepped in a bucket of water. And all the brown, and all the blue, and all the red were washed away. What color were his shoes again?
White.
But now they were wet. Did Pete cry?
Goodness, no.
He kept walking along and singing his song. I love my wet shoes. 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 The moral of Pete's story is, no matter what you step in, keep walking along and singing your song, because it's all good.
So while we were reading that book, this is a chart of the sight words that I knew right away. So now that we have this, what we're gonna do is create our own stories based off of the sight words we saw in the book. If there's any other sight words you need to add to your chart to make your story complete, feel free to do that. But we're going to create our own books, just about 5 pages long, using these sight words, and you can, for your pictures, either draw them or cut pictures out of magazines or do both. But this is going to show me that you know your sight words and know what they mean and are able to write them. Thank you for participating, and I look forward to reading your sight word book.